Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we're discussing my thoughts on episode 2 of the anime series 3D Kanojo Real Girl. And before I get to that, much as I spoke about in my previous video upload on my channel, talking about the return of Shokugeki no Soma Season 3, you'll have to forgive the backdrop. My camera is differently placed because over the weekend I injured my back something fierce, and I'm kind of propped against my pillows on my bed to make it a little easier because I'm just trying to get through it. It felt like I got shot in the back and it hurt really bad. And certain movements that I make just kill me, slay me with pain, so you'll have to forgive that. But as I've also tended to do in these recent videos, you know, talking about different first episodes and Shokugeki no Soma's coming back, I figured I would update you guys, those who keep checking back in on my coverage of, you know, anything and everything, to let you know what I am caught up with as far as what I watched in the last couple of days, or at least since the last video I uploaded, of this new, you know, whole slew of spring 2018 anime series. And we saw the return also alongside Shokugeki no Soma Season 3. We saw the second half of Season 2 of Hozuki no Reitetsu come back. I enjoyed the whole first season. It was something that was recommended to me by a good friend online, Dana. And I watched the whole, you know, first half of the second season, you know, a couple months ago now, I think it was. Maybe not that long ago, but I had sort of waited to drop into it, and then I marathoned it, and it was really enjoyable, much as the first season was. And so now it's back, and with the first episode coming back for the second half of Season 2, Hozuki no Reitetsu, or Hozuki's, you know, cool-headedness, I guess is the English interpretation of that. It's right back to the fun of it, crazy stuff going on in the depths of hell and everything like that with Hozuki, and it's good that it's back, you know. I also watched the first episode of the anime Piano no Mori, which I did not know actually had a full-length anime feature film version of. I was completely unfamiliar with this, its source material, anything like that. Thoroughly enjoyed the first episode. Where else could I go to hear a meticulously crafted piece, a musical piece composed by Chopin, as well as the old folk tune Little Brown Jug, in one singular episode. Little Brown Jug being one of my favorite sort of interpretations of that, or arrangements of that, was Glenn Miller's version from the big band era in the 30s. And, you know, it's like I get to hear both of these, you know, pieces of music in the same episode, and it's all about this sort of child prodigy savant piano player and his buddy who's, you know, grown up being taught to play the piano, and their teacher is this, you know, former sort of aficionado of playing the piano until he got into like a car accident. And so, I mean, the whole first episode was brilliant, I thought. It really pulled me in. Some of my favorite pieces of music, as I say, on display, you know, for the years in the episode. The only sort of complaint I have about it is the CG is just, whew, it's not good. Whenever, you know, somebody's playing the piano, I guess to get all the keystrokes and everything of the hands down to every meticulous movement, it doesn't look good. But otherwise, I enjoyed it. I like it. I like that I could get these pieces of music in it. And I will have to check out the movie, though, because I hear a lot of people saying the movie's much better. And that's just watching the first episode of this anime adaptation. The last thing I checked out recently was, and forgive me, I'm going to have to try to slowly go through this title, Nil Admirari no Tenbin Taito Genwaku Kitan, I guess is what it's called. I was semi-interested looking at the PV for it, watching the first episode. The animation style and sort of the pacing of it really reminded me of two series that I actually covered previously in episodic discussions, you know, reviews. One was Dance with Devils, and one was Norn 9. And it kind of, with a little bit of a mesh of similar themes to do with Black Clover, you know, which is a completely different thing. This young woman, her brother tries to commit suicide when he finds out she's sort of going to get involved with a marriage to save her family's honor in, you know, like sort of, I guess, early 20th century, and turns out he reads a lot of books, and there are books that are instilled with ominous emotions and powers and such like that, and it's really intriguing. I like the animation, I like the characters, the character designs, all of that stuff, the characterization, and I'm really intrigued by it. I like how familiar it feels to me in look and vibe, and you know, sort of the plotting as Dance with Devils and Norn 9, which I enjoyed both of those series. So, without further ado, now talking about episode 2 of 3D Kanojo Real Girl. This was an interesting experience because I did, for the most part, really enjoy the first episode. I was really kind of excited about it. If you go back to my episode 1 discussion video, my first impressions video, I believe I said something along the lines of, this was the first episode of anything Spring 2018 anime that excited me and that really had me wanting to come on and talk about it, whereas I had sat through a couple of other things and enjoyed them, but I didn't feel motivated to do a video. So now we're into episode 2, and the whole first half of this episode felt near incomprehensible to me. I couldn't make sense of what in the hell was going on, because you have Iroha, for all intents and purposes, like she's lying every other word. We call back to the fact that Satsui had seen her, you know, crying on a bench seemingly outside the hospital. I don't know if that's exactly where she was. I presume that is the case, because he then runs into her doctor, I guess, kind of, maybe. Is she dating him? Is it her doctor? What's going on there? This, of course, coming after sort of earlier in the episode, he's planning on just going and buying a new video game, and he's just going to have his whole Sunday, you know, set aside to go to the shop early in the morning, get the game, and then play the game all the rest of the day. But he ends up seeing her walking around with this really handsome guy, whom later he runs into, and it seems like this guy's a doctor. You know, he is a doctor, but he thinks that is to say, Satsui thinks this guy's her boyfriend, and she's like, you know, much as was made much ado about her in the first episode, she's sort of going around with different guys, and what's going on with that. And so, like, he tries to approach the doctor. The doctor is not forthcoming at all. Not that he could really, you know, patient confidentiality, but at least he wouldn't have to do what he did in misdirecting him to think that, oh yeah, I am dating Iroha, and what's it to you, numbnuts, and you're a weakling. You're not gonna, you know, fend me off or tell me to get packing. You know, if you're supposed to be her pseudo boyfriend, as you've introduced yourself, what good are you to her? So F off. And so he goes crying to Iroha. And she's like, oh, I have a serious deathly illness. And shades of you know, You're Lying April, which was something somebody mentioned in the comments on my episode 1 first impressions video, come flooding, you know, toward me. And but then in the same breath, she turns around. Oh, that was a lie. And how can I, you know, make you, Satsui, understand that we're actually having a serious relationship, that we're actually dating exclusively? I'm not seeing any other guys. Well, I'm going to take you back to the love hotel and have you mount me. Which then he, like, loses his ever-loving crap and runs home, and, like, you know, inexplicably, without explanation at all, tentatively leaving her there. I assume they were at, like, a hotel. It wasn't her bedroom in her home or something, you know. And, like, it was all over the place. And there wasn't a clear-cut sense of, you know, empathetic, informational stuff there, as far as, you know, why is she doing this? Why is she lying? Why is she completely, with every turn of dialogue, she's saying something different or something that contradicts what she just said? What was why? And then the doctor is no help, you know. And then finally, like, once we get past the halfway point, you know, Satsui has gone back to the doctor and apologized, because apparently she told, you know, Satsui that, oh, no, whereas at first she's like, no, I'm dating him, that's my boyfriend, F you. No, I lied about that. It's actually, I have a deathly illness. No, I lied about that too. It's actually, I have asthma. So he goes back to the doctor and apologizes. And yet again, Dr. Man ain't no help, chases him off. And so, like, the whole first half is just WTF is going on here? What the hell am I watching? I can't make sense of it. I'm an empathetic individual. I can usually read into the thoughts and emotions, what is supposed to be behind the motivations of a character in a given anime. Most of the time, when I'm doing these videos, there are times when I'm having to inform other people who aren't quite getting that, grasping that, because they are not so easily empathetic as I am. And this was, I didn't know what. I was WTF in the whole first half. Finally, we kind of get back to the nice, cutesy, heartfelt, heartwarming dynamic between Tsutsui and Iroha, with Tsutsui's mother being surprised that he brought a girl back to his place. And then they find out, oh, from the doctor, it's gonna be her birthday up and coming. And he and his buddy, with the cat ears, end up making her, like a little clay figurine of her being a magical girl, because they have some alone time where he introduces her to his favorite anime, and she's kind of interested in it. He likes that she's open-minded to his interests. And, but then he's ruining the fact that, as, you know, we figured, she's only going to be here for like 6 months. And then shades of plastic memories start, you know, flooding my mind when the mother gives them tickets to like a local fair or a theme park, amusement park, and they skip school and they go and have a day full of fun at this amusement park. And of course, they're up on the Ferris wheel after she's taken them on all these roller coasters and making them sick, driving them insane. And so finally, he gives the gift of the figurine to her on the Ferris wheel, and he admits that, you know, this is how he envisions her. She says, the figurine's very cute. Is this what you think of me? Like, you know, how you look upon me? And he's very complimentary to her, and whatever, you know, sentiments he is exposed to her in that moment really win her over to the point where she lip locks with him right then and there. And it's really sweet, and it's really romantic. And it's like, okay, why couldn't this have been the whole episode? Like, this kind of feeling and emotion, because the whole first half was damn near senseless. It was incomprehensible as to her motivations, why she is constantly contradicting herself, lying, and then saying she's lying, and then lying again, and then saying she's lying again. What the hell was the point? You know, if I'm to read into it as an aspiring writer, I could say that she has some sort of long-standing reservations and maybe something that she's hiding that would be her motivations for not wanting to tell a straight story, not necessarily wanting to get too close to somebody, even though she does seemingly like Tsutsui. It did occur to me, like, is she just playing him, maybe, like having fun with him, and, like, you know, we're going to find out, oh, she's been making fun of him behind his back or something like that. But by the end of the episode, I don't think so. I think whatever is revolving around her having to move, whether she actually does have some sort of health ailment that is impacting her, whether that's legitimate or not, or some other thing that, you know, it could be just the reserve of, you know, knowing her time here is limited and not wanting to bury the hatchet too deeply with anyone, because of how, you know, much more painful that would be to come when she has to inevitably leave. I don't know. I don't know what exactly the point of her lying out of every other side of her face in the span of just like 2 scenes, or 3 scenes. It was like a whirlwind of WTFery. You know, the rest of it was really enjoyable, much as the first episode was, but I was just struggling there. Like, why is she lying? Why is the doctor not being helpful? I mean, even if he can't come clean with why he's seeing her, why was he out with her? Walking around town, like, what was he making a house call? Is he like, you know, like a friend of the family, and he wants to see what her daily routine is, make sure she's not getting too aggressive. That could, if indeed it is true that she has asthma, you know, that she's not doing anything high impact that would, you know, make that asthma kick in and risk her life or something, or, you know, her well-being. I don't know. You know, I don't know what in the hell the truth of the matter is with any of this. I'm getting like Koito So vibes and you know, again, a little bit Your Lie in April, but I feel like smacked upside the head by the end. I'm not sure what the hell's going on. It was sweet, it was heartwarming, it was cute by the end, but the whole first half, I'm like, what am I watching? What is going on here? And so, yeah, I did enjoy it for the most part. I don't know still at this late juncture if I'm going to be discussing this episodically or not. It all remains to be seen. There's still a small handful of episodes yet to debut for the spring 2018 season that I want to check out. And it turns out I have a lot that I'm actually going to be watching. The most I think I've ever cumulatively watched in one given season. I think I'm already up to 20, 21, 22 episodes of different, or I should say, different series. But so yeah, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below what you thought of episode 2 of 3D Kanojo Real Girl. If you watched this video to its completion, if I had any beverage in this glass, I'd clink one to you. And thank you for watching. But in any case, yeah, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I can only hope episode 3 is a little less incomprehensible and much more enjoyable. And otherwise, until then, I'll catch you later. Peace.